Okay, so standing feet up, turning toes out, followed by heels. So just looking down at your feet, making sure they're tracking straight and parallel to each other. Soft through the knees, hips facing forward, shoulders round and down and ears over the shoulders. Placing the hands on the hips, and we're just rocking that pelvis forward and back. So imagine sloshing the water out the back and out the front, flattening and arching through the lumbar spine. So finding the halfway point between the two, nice neutral spine position. Placing the hands over the rib cage and drawing the shoulders down the back. Nice deep breath in through the nose, feel the rib cage expanding, and out through the mouth. Good. One more time. Deep breath in. Keep the shoulders down the back and out through the mouth again. So while we continue with this deep lateral breathing, I want you to imagine the belt around your waist, drawing the sides towards each other and pulling the belly button back towards the spine. And at the same time, feel those pelvic floor muscles like a lift coming up. 1, 2, 3. So time it through the whole abdominal core region, but you can keep with that deep lateral breathing without it being restricted. So relaxing the arms down by the side. We're going to start with those heel lifts. So lifting one heel and then the other. Focusing on the ankle joint. So it doesn't matter how high we lift up, we just don't want to be wobbling onto the outside or inside of those joints. Clearly exaggerating that, but the focus is to keep those ankles pushing forward and straight. So while we do that, we're going to start with some forward shoulder rolls. Nice big rolls, releasing any tightness or tension in those shoulders. Good. One more time forward, and then we're reversing. Good. Up to the ears, over the mountain, squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back. One more time, and then relaxing those shoulders down the back. Good. So floating the arms out to the side, locking the shoulders down as we reach the arms up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, we're going to float those arms down, pushing the air away from you as you bring them back down to your side. Good. In breath, float the arms out to the side, drop the shoulders down the back, up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, pushing the air away as you bring the arms back down again. Good. So locking those elbows into your side, palms to the ceiling. On the in-breath, we're opening the arms out, hands out to the side and squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back. Out breath, closing the hands back up again. Good. In-breath, squeezing those shoulder blades together as we float the hands out. Out breath, closing back together. Last time, in-breath, really squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back. And closing the hands back out. Brilliant. So locking the hands, not locking, hands down by your side, palms facing away from you. On the in-breath, we're floating the hands up just above the head, elbows to shoulder height, and floating back down again. Good. In-breath, floating the hands up towards the ceiling, elbows at shoulder height. Take the hands behind the head, interlock the fingers, shrug those shoulders up to your ears, draw the shoulder blades down the back, and then we're squeezing those shoulder blades together behind you, and then floating the arms out to the side and relaxing back down to your side again. Good. So one more time. On the in-breath, we're floating the hands up towards the ceiling. Interlock the hands behind the head. Shrug the shoulders up to your ears. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. And then squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back. Good, and then unlocking the hands and floating them back down again. So interlocking the hands behind you, Turn them inside out, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then we're lifting hands up away from the glutes, feeling that stretch through the front of the chest. Susie, can you hear me all right? Okay, breathing through that stretch. Then we're going to relax the hands back onto the glutes. Keep them interlocked. We're coming back to standing. Soft knees, core engaged. We're going to turn and look over the left shoulder. Don't force it. In breath to center, back up again. On the out breath, we're turning and looking over the right shoulder. Just check those shoulders are split, the shoulder blades are squeezed together and the shoulders are down your back. In breath to center, back up. On the out breath, look over that left shoulder. Then you're going to drop the chin down towards the shoulder. Again, don't force it, just feeling that stretch. Back up again and center back up. Looking over the right shoulder. Drop the chin to the chest. Sorry, chin to the shoulder. Back up again and center back up. Now we are going to drop the chin to the chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together at the back. Feel that nice pull down the back of the neck. And coming back up to the center again. And then we're going to drop the left ear over the left shoulder. So we're getting the stretch down the side of the neck now. And center back up. And then dropping right ear over right shoulder. Draw the left shoulder down. Don't let the left shoulder follow you. And center back up. So we're going to unlock those fingers, roll those shoulders and just loosen them off. Brilliant. Good. So into the side bend now. Left hand down, right arm up. Lengthening through the waist and on the out breath, we're coming down into a left side bend. Reach the right arm over the top. Don't let that right hip slide out. Keep it centered and feel the stretch and opening through the right side. In breath to center, changing arms, lengthening through the waist and then over into the right side bend. Good. Breathing through that stretch and then center back up again. Good. And again, keeping those knees soft, we're going to just turn to the left, wrap the arms around you and then fluid movements. We're just turning from the left to the right. Wrapping the arms around you. Think about pushing the hip forward, so the side you're turning to, pushing that hip forward and feeling the rotation through that back. Good. One more time to each side. And then we're centering back up again. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring this camera down because we're coming on to working with one leg. Excellent. So we're going to start with working on the one leg. Lifting the right heel up off the floor, thinking about that pelvis staying the same, so not hitching it up. And you just want to, again, think about that left foot, what it's doing. So feel the broadness through that left foot. Imagine the roots growing out through the sole of the foot. So feeling really good and secure into that left foot. And then we're slowly going to slide that right foot forward. And sliding back in again. Good. So feel what happens with that left foot. Are you rolling onto the outside or the inside or tipping forward and back? Keep that left foot planted into the floor. We're going to lift slightly now and float that right leg forward and floating back in again. Good. One more time. Float that right foot forward and float it back in. So we're going to take the foot to the floor. Now we're taking the leg out to the right side. So stay on the outside of that left foot and sliding back in. Good. Sliding that right leg out. Feel what happens to that left foot and sliding in. Then again, we're going to float it out to the side now. Good, and floating back in. One more time, floating that leg out. So obviously we're going to try and stay on the outside of that foot and floating back in. Good. Foot to the floor again, we're sliding the foot back. Keep the knee soft through that left side and sliding it back forward again. Good, so we're going to slide that left foot back, keep the knee soft and sliding back forward. So when you're ready now, we're going to float that leg back, keep the left knee soft. Think about what that left foot is doing. Sliding it forward one more time, floating that right leg back and draw it back forward again and back to the floor and just loosening those hips off. Good. So circle around one way, circle around the other way, coming back to the center again. So right foot planted into the floor, we're taking the left heel up off the mat, thinking about the pelvis level. And when you're ready, we're going to slide that left foot along the floor and slide it back in again. Think about what that right foot is doing, keeping it broad and centered. Slide that left foot back in. Now we're going to lift it slightly and we're floating that left foot forward and floating back in. One more time, floating the left foot forward, floating it back in. We're taking the foot down to the toe down to the floor and we're going to slide it along the floor out to the side. Think about that right foot and sliding back in. Good. One more time, sliding it out to the side and slide back in. Then we're going to lift it slightly. We're floating it out to the side and floating back in. One more time, floating it out and floating back in. Good. Foot to the floor. We're sliding that leg back. Keep the right knee soft and sliding back in again. Slide that left foot back and slide back in. Now we're going to float the leg up. Now we're going to float it back. Good. And back to the center one more time. Keep the right knee soft. Right foot implanted into the mat, floating back. Bring it back forward. Take the foot to the floor. Oh, feel those glutes burning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just circle it round and loosening that all off. Brilliant. Okay, so when you're ready now, we're going to come into our roll down. So again, feet hip width apart, core engaged, but relax through the neck and shoulders. Deep breath in, drawing the belly button to spine. As we breathe out, we're dropping chin to chest and we're peeling that vertebra off the wall behind you. Take your time through this. Arms hanging, head hanging. Let the crown of the head weight you down towards your toes. Draw the shoulders down your back, head hanging. Hold for an in-breath. And then as we breathe out, we're slowly rounding back up, one vertebra at a time. Drawing that belly button to spine, stacking that spine, come up to standing and rolling the shoulders back. Good. One more time, so deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're dropping chin to chest and we're peeling the vertebra off the wall behind you. Arms hanging, just relaxed, head, crown of the head weighting you down. Articulating through each vertebrae joint. This time we're either going to place the fingers underneath the toes or flat onto the floor. Head hanging, shoulders down the back. We're straightening through the right knee for 4, 3, 2, 1 and soften. Straighten through the left knee for 4, 3, 2, 1 and soften. Straighten through both knees, head hanging, shoulders down the back. Breathing through that, stretch. And then we're going to soften through the knees, walk the hands forward, and coming down onto all fours. Good. It's, I think Susie, can you hear me? I think it's Susie struggling to get her, I don't know, to keep losing her. Susie, can you hear me? Okay, so we're coming on to all fours. Knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders.
Be able to mute her, Nikki.
So I know, I think it's just Susie struggling to get, I keep muting her, but then somehow she's unmuting it. Susie, can you hear me? No, she's struggling. Okay. So knees underneath hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, thinking of the inside of those elbow joints. Make sure they're facing each other, not turned out to the front. Draw that belly button to spine. So into the shoulder drop. So we're dropping in between the shoulder blades, not the lower back. The lower back stays in neutral spine. We're just dropping in between the shoulder blade and then lifting back out to the shoulder joint, broadening through the shoulder blade. So squeezing those shoulder blades together. Try and feel them sliding towards each other along your back. On the out breath, lengthen those shoulder blades away from each other. Good. One more time. In breath, dipping down between the shoulder blades. Squeeze them together along your back. On the out breath, lift back out and nice and broad. Good. Into the cat stretch. So in breath, now we're rounding up through that thoracic back. On the out breath, lengthen through tail and crown. Feet on through into that back extension. Good. In breath, rounding through that thoracic back up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, lengthen tail and crown and feet on into that back extension. Good. In breath, rounding thoracic back up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, lengthen tail and crown, feet on into that back extension. Hold that for a breath. And then we're going to flex that back off and coming back to your neutral spine position. Brilliant. So into the hip drop. So we're going to drop both hips to the right. Turn and look over your left shoulder at your feet. In breath to center. So dropping the hips to the left, turn and look over your right shoulder at your feet. In breath to center. Good. So keep going each time, taking those hips a little bit lower. Feeling that stretch out through the pelvis, through that lower back. Good. We're going to do one more time to each side. Good. Last one. Brilliant. Come back to the center. We're going to sit back on your heels, head down into the mat, creeping those fingers away from you. Drawing the shoulders down the back. Breathing through that stretch. If you're sitting on your heels, then I want you to lift your glutes up away from your heels. Keep the head down. Walk the hands forward, and you're opening up through that lower back. Good. So coming back to sitting on your heels, we're rounding back up, stacking that spine, and coming up to sitting. Excellent. So we're back onto all fours again. If you're struggling with your wrists, come onto your forearms here. Otherwise, obviously, stay up. Okay. So we're going to slide that right leg back, drop that right toe underneath, not the right toe, drop the toes underneath you. And we're dropping that hip down, we're pushing back through the hands or forearms, and you're on the forearms. And we're just feeling that stretch through the back of the calf there. Good, and we're holding that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sliding that right knee in. Good. So on the out breath, we're sliding the left leg back, tap the toes underneath you, push back through the hands. Try not to hitch that left hip up. And we're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sliding that left knee in. Brilliant. So into the leg and arm raise. Now if you're feeling really uncomfortable through the wrists, if you've got a chair there, you can just place your forearms onto a chair just to take the weight off your wrist. We're going to start with right hand, left leg. So sliding the right hand forward, left leg back. Try not to hitch the hip or shoulder as you reach the arm forward and back. Good. Strong through that core, keeping you centered. Lower back down, sliding in, trying not to shift the weight. Right leg back, left arm forward, reaching forward and back. Keep that core strong. Lower back down and sliding back in again, trying not to shift too much. Right arm forward, left leg back, reaching forward and back. This time, if you want to progress it, we're taking it out to the side. Now keep the torso straight, just the arm and the leg that are moving. Back to the center, lower back down, sliding in and trying not to shift too much from one side to the other. Left arm forward, right leg back, reaching forward and back. Take it to the side, keep the torso straight. Back to the center, lower back down and sliding in. Good. One more time to each side. Right arm forward, left leg back, reaching forward and back. This time, we're going to draw the left knee forward, drop the head to the knee and lengthen away again. Good. One more time on this side. Draw the left knee forward, drop the head to the knee, lengthen back away again, lower back down and sliding back in. Good. So right leg back, left arm forward, reaching forward and back, and then we're drawing that right knee in, drop the head to the knee. Think of the core muscles staying strong and keeping you centered, and keep it nice and slow so you're controlling the movement. Lengthen it back away again, lower back down, slide that knee back in. We're going to sit back on our heels and open those knees nice and wide, big toes together. We're going to walk the hands forward, head down to the mat. Again, if you need to lift up, get the glutes away from your heels, that's fine. We're going to walk round to the right, reaching that left arm away from you. Keep the head down to the mat. Trying to keep your weight on your heels. Coming back to the center and then walking around to the left, reaching that right arm away from you. Opening up through the right side. Walk back to the center again and then walking your hands back towards you. We're rounding back up, stacking that spine. Good. Take the feet out from in front of you. Good. Stacking that spine. Come to the front of the mat. You've got the mat rolling away behind you. Arms straight out in front of you, shoulders down the back. Good. So drawing that belly button to spine, deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're rolling all the way down to the mat. We're drawing the belly button to spine. We're rounding down, coming down, lumbar, thoracic. Take the head down. Reach the arms over the top and lengthening those legs away from you. Good. Flexion through the toes. Reach the arms up above the head, and we're just holding here for a breath. So deep breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to think about relaxing that lumbar spine down into the mat. Good. And then drawing the knees back up. I think, Jeanette, I'm just muting you. I'm not sure if it's, are you having doggy barking issues? It's okay. I've muted you, Jeanette, it's fine. All right, so we're lying on the floor. We're going to draw the knees up, so heels hand and a half length away from your glutes. Relaxing the arms down by your side. And we're going to find our neutral spine position. So, on the in-breath, we're going to roll that pelvis forward, arching through the lumbar spine, chin coming up towards the ceiling. On the out-breath, we're going to flatten through the lumbar spine and then draw that chin down towards your chest so you're lengthening through the back of the neck. In breath, roll that pelvis forward, chin up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, flattening through the lumbar spine and drop the chin towards the chest. Good. One more time. In breath, roll that pelvis forward, chin up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, flattening through the lumbar spine, chin towards the chest. Keep that length through the back of the neck, and we're going to float right and left arm up towards the ceiling, shoulders down the back. So palms facing each other. Imagine you're plucking that apple from the tree with the right arm. So we're reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling. As you lower the shoulder to the floor, you're sliding the shoulder blade down your back. Good. Reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. As you lower the shoulder, slide the shoulder blade down the back. Reaching up with the right arm to the ceiling. Then we're going to bring the right arm over to the left. Follow the hand with the head. You're reaching the hand down towards the floor, but obviously not forcing it. Back up to the ceiling again, and then as you lower the shoulder, slide the shoulder blade down your back. Good. Reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling, bring the left arm over to the right, follow the hand with the head. Opening up behind that left shoulder, reaching back up to the ceiling again, and as you lower the shoulder, slide the shoulder blade down your back. Palms facing away from you now. We're going to take right arm up above the head, left hand down. Keep that lumbar spine or the rib cage down into the mat. Dragging the fingers on the floor, we're bringing both arms out to the side, ending up with left arm up above the head, right hand down, and floating back up to the ceiling again. Good. On the out breath, we're floating left arm up, right arm down, dragging the fingers on the floor, taking both arms out to the side, ending with right arm up, left arm down, and floating back up to the ceiling again. Brilliant. So relaxing both arms down by your side, coming up into the shoulder bridge position. So deep breath in, draw the belly button to spine. As you breathe out, we're curling that pelvis up off the mat, peeling the vertebra one at a time as we come up into the shoulder bridge position, squeezing the glutes, pushing forward through the front of the thigh. Check there's no tension through the neck and shoulders. On the out breath, we're going to come back down, one vertebra at a time, keeping that pelvis curled up until right at the end. Good. So deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're curling that pelvis up off the mat, peeling the vertebra one at a time as we come up into the shoulder bridge position. Hips lifted, keep that rib cage down. We're going to start with our glute squeezers. So we're dropping the glutes or the hips 2 centimeters and squeezing them back up again. For 9, and squeeze. 8. Think about the rib cage. Don't let the rib cage change. We're not popping that out, just the hips. For 5, and squeeze. 4, squeezing back up. 3, 2, last one, and we're coming back down. 1 vertebra at a time, keeping the pelvis curled up until the end. Good. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're curling that pelvis up off the mat, peeling the vertebra one at a time as we come up into that shoulder bridge position. Hips lifted, rib cage down, squeezing through the glutes. We're going to drop the hips and squeeze back up. For 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, squeezing those glutes. Last one, and we're coming back down. 1 vertebra at a time. And then we're going to hug those knees into your chest and just rocking from side to side, loosening off your back. Excellent. Okay, so we're taking the feet back down to the mat, keeping the hip width between the knees and the feet, arms out to the side, palms to the ceiling. Just think about your shoulders coming down your back. So wringing out the washing, we're going to start with rolling the left hand forward and the right arm back. So imagine that rolling pin, but the arms are moving in the opposite direction to each other. Then start to notice how the one shoulder lifts up away from the mat and the other shoulder stays down into the mat. And we're going to start to turn our head towards the shoulder that's staying down into the mat. Good. Take your time. So we're not forcing anything, but obviously we're just slightly increasing that rolling forward and back. Once you start to get a good rhythm of the turning of the head, we're going to start to drop the knees now opposite direction to the head. Good. The feet stay hip width apart, so we're not stacking the feet. We're just rolling onto the sides of the feet, working with the breath, so out breath to drop, in breath to center, and then out breath to drop again. Good. We're going to do 2 more to each side. Good. Maybe holding the stretch a little bit longer each time. Good. Last ones to each side. Good. And then coming back to the center again, we're going to place the hands onto the hips. We're going to slide the right leg away from you and then float the left leg up into tabletop. Now just focus on that lumbar spine for a minute. Make sure that's staying locked down into the mat. So imagine you've got the pencil on the knee, but we're going to circle the knee as much as possible. So basically we're circling through the hip. But what we don't want to be doing is rocking from side to side. So you're going to make those hip circles. Now it doesn't matter which way you go because we're going to change direction. We're going to do 4 times in the one direction. So take that hip joint through its full range of movement there, but without rocking from side to side on your hips, okay? 1 more time in this direction, and then we're reversing. Good. Now, if you feel that there's clicking going on in that hip joint, if it's not causing you discomfort, then I would say carry on. If you're getting a bit of pain though, then I want you to reduce the circles. But remember, there should be no movement through those hips, no rocking from side to side. So it's keeping that strong core and pelvic stability. Good. So back to tabletop with the left leg. We're going to take that left foot back down to the floor. Draw the right leg up into tabletop now and slide that left heel away from you. Just think about that lumbar spine for a minute. Think about the level hips And we're going to start to circle. So again, taking that hip joint through its full range of movement if you can. Nice big circles, but make sure you don't rock from side to side. Good. 2 more on this side. Keep that lumbar spine in the mat. Last one on this side, and we're changing direction. Good. So I hope your hands are on your hips, because that's the easiest way to feel if you're rocking. Keep those hips level and centered, and then you'll feel that core engaging. 3, and 1 more time. 4, excellent. Float that right knee back up. We're going to tuck that right knee to your chest. Flex through the left foot. Push the left heel away from you as you're hugging that right knee into your chest. Breathing through that stretch. Excellent. And then we're going to take the left hand onto the right knee. You're drawing that knee up and over to your left chest. Good. So you should be feeling a bit of a pull either through your right glutes or potentially through the outside of that right leg. If you're not feeling anything, draw that knee up and over a bit more. So it's getting the height towards the left shoulder and then the stretch going over to the left. Brilliant. Center that back up. Take the right foot to the floor. We're going to hug that left knee up to your chest. Slide the right heel away from you. Good. Hugging that knee in. And then we're going to take the right hand onto the left knee. Draw that left knee up and over to that right shoulder. Good. Breathing through that stretch. Excellent. And then center back up again. Leave the left leg floating. We're going to float the right leg up into tabletop position. So think of knees over hips, okay? If you find when your knees are over the hips that your back is popping up, then by all means bring the knees back over your chest. But if we really want to work our core hard, we need to keep those knees over the hips, both arms floating up to the ceiling. So if that is your start point, make sure you always come back to that point. We're going to toe tap, left toe first, so tap the left toe down, right arm up above the head, back to the center. So I'm changing right leg now, just making sure that every time you come back to the center, you try and keep the knee over the hip. Lock that core down. Good. And if you want to work harder now, then when you lengthen the leg away, take that leg a little bit longer. Good. 2 more to each side. Make sure the back is staying locked down. Good. And now we're going to heel tap. So touch the heel to the floor. Good. Just think again, when the knees come back to the center, are the knees over the hips? Good. Locking that back down. Good. 2 more to each side. Engaging the core. And 3. Good. Last ones now. For 4. And 4. Excellent. We're hugging those knees into your chest, rocking from side to side, loosening off that back. And then when you're ready, we're going to take both feet back down to the mat. Keep the knees and feet together. Arms to the side, palms to the ceiling, shoulders down the back. So again, thinking about that lumbar spine imprinting into the mat, we're keeping the feet stacked. We're going to take both knees very slowly, controlling the movement to the right, and head goes to the left. The feet are staying stacked, so feet and knees stacked. And we're going to lengthen that left leg over the right knee, toe towards the floor. Good, feeling that stretch, pull through that right side, breathing through that stretch. And then we're stacking knees and ankles. Again, take the lumbar spine to the mat as we send those knees back up. On the out breath, take both knees to the left. Control the movement. Don't just let them flop down. Head goes to the right. And then we're lengthening the left toe over the right knee. Toe to the floor. Feel that stretch. Breathing through it. And then stacking knees and ankles. Take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center back up again. Good. So floating the left leg up into tabletop, keeping a hand's width between the two legs. On the out breath, we're going to take both legs over to the right. So this is where you don't want to let that top leg flop down onto the bottom leg. Keep us hands width distance apart. And then take that lumbar spine to the mat as you center those knees back up again. Good. So changing legs, right leg to tabletop. Lumbar spine imprinted into the mat. On the out breath, we're taking both knees over to the left, head goes to the right. Keep that hands width distance between the two legs. And take the lumbar spine to the mat as we center those knees back up again. Now, if that's feeling like you're working hard enough, stay, keep changing the legs. If you want to progress them, we're taking both legs up to tabletop. Keep the knees and feet squeezing together. Now, lumbar spine, stay locked down into the mat, core engaged as we take both knees to the right. Again, slow movement, controlling it. Head goes to the left. And then take the lumbar spine to the mat. So we're using the core to bring those legs back, not your back. If you're feeling you're using your back muscles to bring the leg back to the center, go back to one leg. Over to the left, head goes to the right. And again, use those core muscles to bring the legs back to the center again. One more time to each side. So again, if you're on a single leg, just keep alternating, one leg up, one leg down, back to the center again. Keep that lumbar spine locked down into the mat, core engaged. Good. And center those knees back up again. We're going to hug the knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to grab our bands. Let's start with the band around the right foot. Good. So hold the band in the right hand, take the leg up towards the ceiling. Good, a nice strong pull on the band, so we feel the hamstring, but try not to have any tension up into that neck or shoulder. Brilliant, so just breathing through that stretch. Okay, now feeling at the back, that the pelvis is staying centered on the mat. We're not lifting up. We're going to take that right leg out to the side. So don't lift that left side off the floor. Keep that down. Feel that stretch through the inner thigh there. 2, 1, and we're centering back up again. Take the band into your left hand. Keep the stretch on that hamstring, so keep that pull, and then we're taking the leg over to the left, but keep that right side down into the mat. Don't let that right side lift up. Good. Breathing through that for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the leg back up to the ceiling. We're swapping legs, so left leg foot into the band, holding the band in that left hand. Feel that stretch up through the hamstring there, shoulder down your back. Good, keep increasing that pull slightly. And then keeping both back of the pelvis on the floor. We're going to take the leg out to the side. Don't come up onto that left side. Keep that right side into the mat. Feel that nice stretch through the inner thigh. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Center back up again. Take the band into the right hand. Bring that leg over to the right. Keep that left seat bone down. Good. And we're holding for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and center back up again. Brilliant. So taking the band off, we're very slowly going to come up to sitting. So we're going to work the hip and outer thigh here. So if you have lower back issues or hip issues, leave the band. Do this exercise without the band. If you're okay, then we're going to take the band behind the thigh and tying out. So it wants to be just, I would say, again, about a hand's width above your knees, tying the band. And then we're going to come onto our right side. And we're going to come onto the elbow on that right side. So when you're ready, the elbow underneath the shoulder. So we're working a little bit with side planks as well now, but we're going to do one exercise together, and then I'm going to give you the various choices. So before we start, we're just going to make sure those hips are stacked and the shoulders are stacked. And remember, there's that little candle burning underneath your waist. So we're not in an armchair, we're lifting up out of that armchair. Good. Top arm up towards the ceiling. So on the in-breath, push that top hip forward, follow the hand with the head as we open the chest up towards the ceiling. On the out breath, we're bringing the arm round, palm down, feeding through the gap, and we're creeping those fingers away from you. Follow the hand with the head. Good. In breath, back up to the ceiling again. Now, we can relax the hand down for a second. The choice is yours. Either continue with that exercise, or if you want to come into the side plank, you can just double your mats over. Either keep the knees bent, or you can do straight legs. And we're going to come up into that side plank. So the choice is yours. If it's too much through your shoulder, just keep going with the other one. Then if we're doing the side plank, we're going to feed the hand through the gap and back up to the ceiling again, and then lower back down. Okay, so as I say, the choice is yours. If you're doing the side plank, we're going to try and do 3. Remember, don't let your ear crunch into your shoulder. Keep the ear lifted up away from the shoulder. And lower back down. And if you're doing the side plank the last time now, up into the side plank. Good. Feet through. Back up to the ceiling. And lower back down again. Excellent. Good. So you can just give that arm a shake off, that right arm. And then, but we're staying on this right side, coming back to line on that right arm. Excellent. So keeping those hips stacked and shoulders stacked. The feet are staying together. Squeeze through that top glute, and we're taking that knee up towards the ceiling and lowering it back down again. Good. On the out breath, squeeze those glutes, keep the feet together, knee to the ceiling, and we're pulsing it for 10, 9, 8, squeeze that glute, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. Now we're going to take that knee and ankle up towards the ceiling. Good. And we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. On the out breath, knee and ankle up towards the ceiling, squeezing through the glute, we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Excellent. Take both legs straight out in front of you. In front of you. Take both legs straight down, but then bring them slightly in front of the midline so that you can stay a little bit more balanced, keeping the hips stacked, pointing through the top toe. We're taking the leg up to the ceiling. Flex, lengthen that top line and lower back down. Pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen and lower. Good. Pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen and lower. Good. Last time. Pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen and lower back down. Good. So we're taking the toe towards the floor and then keeping the toe pointing to the floor. We're taking the leg up, toe to the ceiling to lower back down. Toe to the floor to lift, toe to the ceiling to lower. Good. Toe to the floor to lift, toe to the ceiling to lower. Good. Last time, toe to the floor to come up, toe to the ceiling to lower back down. Good. Give that a bit of a pat off. And when you're ready, we're going to turn onto our left side. Remember, we're starting up on our elbow. So if you want to double that mat over, make sure the hip and the shoulder are in line. Most important is that elbow is underneath the shoulder, because you don't want to be putting pressure through that shoulder joint. Good. So the first one we're all going to do together, and then we can go on into side plank if you want to. So on the in-breath, push the top hip forward. We're opening the arm out, chest towards the ceiling. On the out-breath, we're bringing the arm round, palm down, feeding through the gap and creeping those fingers away from you. Good. Arm back up to the ceiling again. Now the choice is yours. Keep going with that. Push up into the side plank with the knees bent, or straight legs, fish feet, come up into the side plank. We're feeding through the gap and taking the arm back up to the ceiling again and coming back down. Good. Back up into the side plank. Good. Feed the arm through. Back up to the ceiling and lower back down. Good. Last time. Push up into the side plank. Feed the arm through. Back up to the ceiling. Lower back down. If you want to shake the left arm off a little bit, that's fine. And then when you're ready, we're coming back to lying on your left arm. Knees are bent again. Hips and shoulders are stacked. Hand on top of the top hip. Feet together, and we're taking the knee up towards the ceiling. Holding. And lower that knee back down again. Good. On the out breath, knee up towards the ceiling, and we're pulsing it now for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. On the out breath, knee and ankle up towards the ceiling, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep squeezing that glute, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. On the out breath, squeeze through that glute, knee and ankle up. We're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower that back down. Excellent. Lengthening both legs away from you, bringing slightly in front of the midline, pointing through that top toe. We're taking the leg up to the ceiling, flex, lengthen through the top line to lower, pointing to come up, flex, lengthen and lower. Good. 2 more, pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen and lower. Last time, pointing to come up. Flex, lengthen and lower back down. Excellent. Pointing to the floor. Take the leg up towards the ceiling, toe to the ceiling to lower. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower. Good. 2 more. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower back down. Last one. Toe to the floor to come up. Toe to the ceiling to lower back down again. Brilliant. Give that a bit of a tap off. We're going to come up to sitting, taking the bands off, or if you can roll on your back and take the band off, that's great. Well, actually, I'm going to come up to sitting, sorry, because we'll finish off. We'll finish off in sitting. So when you're ready, legs out. Are you going? Bye-bye, Jeanette. See you next week. Okay. Legs out into the V. Stacking that spine, flexion through the foot. So when you're ready, hinging from the hips, we're taking the chest forward, hands towards the floor, draw the shoulders down the back. And then we're going to place the elbow inside of the left knee, reach the right arm over the top, take the eyes up towards the ceiling. Good, breathing through that stretch. Bring the chest to the floor. We're going to walk the hands over to the right side. Elbow inside of the right knee. Bring the left arm over the top. Eyes towards the ceiling. Brilliant. Feel that lovely rotation through the back. Good. Chest to the floor again. Walk the hands back to the center. And as you walk the hands back towards you, we're stacking that spine up. Brilliant. So we're going to close the soles of the feet towards each other. Now, it really doesn't matter how low you come down. The point is we want to be feeling that stretch through the inner thigh. So as long as you're getting a stretch through that inner thigh, you can always have the feet further out away from the body if that makes it easier for you. And we're going to drop down. You can use the elbows to help to push those knees towards the floor a little bit more, as long as it's a nice stretch and not too sharp and uncomfortable. And then we're dropping the chest down over those feet. Good. So feeling that stretch through the inner thigh there, shoulders down the back. One more. We're going to hold for a deep breath in. As we breathe out, see if we can't drop a little bit lower. Good, so stacking that spine again. We're going to take both legs out in front of you. Feet and knees squeeze together, flexion through the toes, hinging from the hips. We're going to drop down over those knees, shoulders down your back. Breathe through the stretch. Good. On each out breath, see if you can drop a little bit lower down over your knees. And then we're rounding back up, stacking that spine, rolling the shoulders down your back. So turning onto all fours. Good. Tap your toes underneath you. We're pushing up into our down dog. Take the heels towards the floor, head through to the knees. And then we're going to lift up onto your toes, push the heels back to the floor. As you do that, take the head through to the knees a little bit more. Good, one more time, come up onto your toes, push the heels to the floor, take the head through to the knees. And then we're going to soften through the knees, walk the hands back towards your feet. On our breath, we're going to round back up. Stack that spine, come up to standing. Excellent, everyone.
Okay.
Sorry.